Faith requires action. We're going to talk about that next on Pastor Bob's Coffee Break. There's our new mug, our new poster. Start walking. I'll show you the way. God. Hebrews 11:8. And that's our poster for the month. And we have a t-shirt that says the same thing. We want to talk about that today. We want to talk about Abraham, the man of faith that this is written about. And it's an interesting verse. Let me read it for you. It was by faith that Abraham obeyed when God called him to leave his home and go to another land that God would give him as his inheritance. He went without knowing where he was going. I love that, don't you? You know, and I've said this before, I can just imagine the people in his town, seeing Abraham leaving, and he's probably carrying a few things because he's moving. And they say, Abraham, where are you going? And he says, I don't know. They said, what do you mean you don't know? He said, God just told me to go and I'm going. He said, well, where are you going to? And he goes, I don't know. But God has an inheritance for me, and he told me to start walking. Now, can you imagine how ridiculous that must have sounded to people around him? And I'm sure in Abraham's head, sometimes it probably sounded a little ridiculous to him. Yeah. But he knew he needed to obey because God asked him to do this. And it was by faith that he obeyed. Now that's a big deal. Because faith, you see, is only expressed in action. People all the time say, I have faith in God. I have faith in my faith. I have faith in what I speak. We talk about all kinds of weird things that aren't true. And a lot of people, their Christianity is having faith in their faith. And what is that? You can believe all kinds of things and have faith in your faith. But the benefit of Christianity is that we have an object of our faith. Jesus Christ is the author and the perfecter of our faith. He's the beginning and the end, the Alpha, the Omega. And when God says move, well, what are you going to do? Because he's the one that knows. And if you really have faith in the object of your faith, well, then you obey by going, like Abraham did. So how would we respond? And I think about that. If God says, I want you to just move, and I want you to just blindly go to the airport, and I'll tell you what ticket to buy when you get there. Or I want you to get in your car and begin to drive, and I'll show you as you go where you're going to live. Wow, that's a big deal. I'm not so sure that would settle well. I'd probably think, I think I'm starting to hear voices, And that's kind of what Abraham did. But what did he do? He obeyed. Now, what does it take to obey? What kind of relationship does it take to have with God to actually obey? He obeyed. There was no immediate tangible reward. He didn't know where he was going. Didn't have warm fuzzies and say, oh boy, this will be fun. He probably thought, wow, this is a big step. But by faith, Abraham obeyed. His faith found expression in his action. Why? Because he believed that he should do whatever God had suggested. Folks, there is never a time when our faith is more important than it is right now. And faith is not something that you silence. It's not something that you just keep to yourself. Some people say, well, my faith is personal. Then you don't have faith. Not personal. Faith is an expression. Faith is a verb. Faith is action. Faith begins to do something because faith is tangible. It's from God. And Abraham had faith and began to move in his faith. Very important. Baby steps. Start walking. I'll show you the way. God. Where is God asking you to walk today? And he's asking all of us to do a walk of faith. Where does your walk take you? Where is your walk beginning? You don't have to know the end. Where has he told you to begin to walk, and are you on that mark? And have you said, God, I believe and I will start walking? And that's when it gets exciting. You know, I'm 68 years old now. Feel like I'm just getting started. But most of my life, since I became a Christian, well, how many years ago? 64 years ago, I guess. 63 years ago. Since then, it's been a walk of faith. Exciting one. There are many times when God had said, just start walking and I'll show you the way. Just believe and I'll take care of the details. And I haven't always gotten that right. But man, the times that I have been awesome. And I'm not done. And you're not done. Did you hear me? You're not done. The walk of faith happens until he takes us home. So where has God told you to start? Start walking. I'll show you the way, he says. Well, as you know, these are available. You can just download the poster for free. It's a 5x7, and you'll find it right here. We're at metalwearfamily.com, and the mugs and the t-shirts and all of our good coffee and all the cool stuff is there. Folks, thanks for joining me again. Love spending this time with you. And we're going to talk about faith in the coming weeks, and I've got some exciting things to share with you. In the meantime, don't forget you are blessed. So go and be a blessing.